how do I want to describe this? This is a collaboration
Yes.
between me, an astrologer, and Zoe, who is a tarot reader and a Reiki master,
Yes.
looking at some of the most amazing energies that are present for us. And you maybe all have been feeling and will relate to this. So I'll just start by sharing quickly. I got something that has affected my voice, and I'm still recovering it. You can still hear a little bit of rasp in my voice. It took me out for like 3 weeks. I was really,
Wow.
I'm like, okay, this is very plutonic. It's like I can't keep doing what I was doing. I'm forced to do something different, and just be with this and surrender to it, which is what Pluto asks us to do. So I've been having to do that, and I had to let go of some things I had scheduled, and I lost my voice entirely for several days. So, and then on the eclipse that just happened as we're doing this recording, I lost one of my priestess sisters who left within hours of the exact eclipse. And
Mm.
that just really deeply affected me. We've been doing some projects together and working on Pallas Athena together. And she was young, she was 45. And it's like, just reminds you how fragile life is. Like, we really need to appreciate and value every single day that we have here. So we're going to talk a little bit more about Pluto and the nodes and what's going on. But I'm going to let Zoe share a little bit about what's been going on for her.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So I'm just getting back uh into the country. I've spent about 3 weeks in the Dominican Republic, all totaled, on doing retreats, doing spiritual retreats. And so on those retreats, the first one I was a participant, and then the second one I was a co-facilitator. And so I was deeply engaged in spiritual work and letting go work, and really a rebirthing process that I've been in for quite a while. And when I got back to the country on Monday, it was not a smooth reintroduction. I would say for me, right, the 2 days before the eclipse, I want to say, or the day before the eclipse, I had flat tires, I had low tires. On the day of the retrograde, my phone died, my battery, my brakes went on my car. And so there's been lots of changes since I got back in the country. And one of the things I was sharing with Caitlin is the message that I've been getting is this message of new, using the things that I have now, not saving them. Because I do have a Capricorn rising, so there's a lot of saving energy with me. There's a lot of like preserving and using a little at a time. So I'll have, and spirit's like, no, use all of your spiritual herbs in your bath. Use all of your, use all of the things so that you can bring new energy in. So yeah, so that's how I'm arriving in the spirit of newness and transformation.
So these things that have been happening for us personally are also reflective of in the collective. Oh, I like that. Reflective in the collective.
Uh-huh.
So, so what's inspiring is that the eclipse that just happened on April 19 or 20, depending on your time zone when it was exact, was squared by Pluto. And the nodes were also, anytime we have an eclipse, the sun and the moon are very close to the nodes, to either the north node or the south node. This was the north node eclipse. And we are going to have the Pluto square to the nodes close for the rest of this year. And in fact, they'll be exact in July. There'll be an exact square as the north node moves into Aries and the south node moves into Libra. Pluto will have retrograded back into at 29 degrees Capricorn, and the nodes will be at 29 degrees Aries Libra. So there's this exact, and they stay really close for several weeks. They have an exact point on July 22nd, July 24th or 5th, July 28th. There's like, they're kind of hanging out exact, really precisely right at the eclipse point where the eclipse energy took place at that 29 degrees Aries point is where the north node is. So the nodes represent the past and the future. The south node is where we're coming from, skill sets, also things of the past we maybe still need to resolve and heal within ourselves. And the north node represents the direction we're moving in. You could say destiny, future, fate, but actually sometimes I have thought that the thing about destiny, fate, and free will is that our free will is how we choose to deal with the things that we get to deal with.
Mm.
And that there are some things that are actually happening for a reason that we don't always understand. And especially when Pluto's involved, it's like, okay, how are we going to transform and grow? That's the opportunity that we have. So this whole thing with Pluto square the nodes, the last time in Aries Libra, the last time it happened in anything close to this was when the North Node was in Libra, the South Node was in Aries in 1772. And there was an exact Pluto square to the nodes. And the reason this doesn't happen in these signs all that often is that Pluto takes 246 to 248 years to come back to a starting place. And the nodes will take about 18 and a half years to come back to a starting place. So they don't always line up like that. So it's been a long time since we've had Pluto square the nodes in the way that this is happening. So this is a unique moment in time. Plus, we just had that powerful eclipse with Pluto square that. We're going to have this energy present for us until the end of the year. So here's a few things to think about in terms of that. Pluto is about facing our fears. It's about transformation. It's about alchemy. It's about the butterfly, the caterpillar becoming the butterfly. The caterpillar goes through a dissolution. It's no longer a caterpillar. It turns into a primordial goo inside the cocoon. Then it becomes a butterfly. And once it's a butterfly, it can get out of the cocoon. As a caterpillar, it can make the cocoon, but it can't get out of the cocoon. As the butterfly, it can get out of the cocoon. And it has to go through a narrow opening to get out of that cocoon. And by going through that narrow passage, it's initiation, it strengthens the butterfly's wings so it can fly. And monarch butterflies can fly 3,000 miles from like south of Canada and, like Wisconsin, northern states, that, from there all the way down to Mexico and spend the winter there. And then they fly all the way back up and lay their eggs. And then the new caterpillars are born. So there's this massive transformational energy that is present for us the rest of this year. Pluto is going to stay within 5 degrees of the nodes. It will be exact in July, and it will stay within 5 degrees until mid-December. So this energy is powerfully present, and it's activating like what's in the way, what's from the past that's still in the way, fears, beliefs, judgments, conditioning, those kinds of things that we may have experienced, as well as the things that could help us move forward that we don't have connection to, or that we need a stronger connection to, or it would be better if we paid more attention to, and looking at our shadow and the places that we're afraid of, because if we're not paying attention to our fears and embracing them and transforming them, they are deciding where we go. It's because we have to go the opposite direction of what we're afraid of. So this is just such a powerful transformative opportunity for us all individually and collectively as a planet. It will be interesting to see how this will play out. I think something's being seeded, because if you think back to 1772, what was seeded at that time then later became the American Revolution and the Declaration of Independence for the United States. Of course, the United States has never really lived up to that declaration, or even, some of the other things that happened, but something massive was being seeded back in 1772, because it took a while to even get to that point of having this Declaration of Independence that was declared. So that's just one example I can think of historically of what happened back that time, that we can imagine something massive is happening. Now, we won't know for a few years what that is. But as long as we're doing our work, we're paying attention, we're embracing our fears, we're facing our shadow, we're transforming the things that we can. And I'm going to turn this over to you, Zoe, here in a second, because I know you've been doing shadow work. And so maybe you can speak into that a little bit. But But this is taking the fears and the things that scare us and turning them into our strengths. And that doesn't happen overnight. And it's not always easy. And sometimes it's not something we even really want to do. But when we do it, on the other side of it, we get to be more of who we truly are. We die to who we think we are so we can be who we truly are. So with that, I'm going to give this over to Zoe.
Yeah, thank you so much for that explanation. And I just want to go back for a second. So in 1772, it was Aries South Node, Libra North Node. So they were going towards that Libra ideal.
Yes.
Didn't quite get it, got some stuff, didn't quite. And so now it's going towards the Aries ideal, which we talked about last month. So
I'll just add really quickly, and Aries is about restoring justice, cosmic order. It's like, okay, what is it going to take to right the wrongs that have happened over the last 250 some years?
Right. And so for those of you all who didn't see our last video about high magic, go back and look at it, because Cayelin did a great overview of that Aries and what that is at the higher octave. So yeah, for me, Cayelin just let me know that I'm in a Pluto cycle coming to the end of it. And so yeah, I've been doing pretty intense shadow work since 2017, 2018. I can't really remember, even though I didn't know that's what it was called at that time. And that was really focusing on dreams, doing the work in my dreams. I've been a part of something called dream planting. And so the shadow work entailed shedding the dreams and the ancestral pattern of dreaming. So I've been doing shadow work by healing ancestral energy. And then last winter, I started to do shadow work. So I'm going to transition to the cards, because I started to use tarot for shadow work, and just got the message recently to continue throughout the year. So I've been using this Earth and Bone deck, which I absolutely love. And I've been using the Murder of Crows tarot. And so the reading that I'm going to do now is, what is the shadow message for us for this time? What is the collective shadow message? And then the second question is going to be, what's waiting to blossom? So what's being dissolved in that caterpillar's cocoon, right? What is being dissolved and what is wishing to emerge? So first, we're going to just do the overall shadow message. So this one. So kind of just where we're at. Where are we? Oh, that makes sense. Four of Cups, right? And so cups are all about emotions. And so cups also resonate to water signs. So this could be Pisces, this could be Cancer, this could be Scorpio, right? So you have these placements somewhere prominent in your chart. And so the Four of Cups, really is, I'm going to find it in the traditional tarot as well, so you all can see the difference. So this really can be a card of not accepting the gifts that are offered. This can be a card of apathy in the traditional tarot. Hopefully I can find it quickly. It's right here. I don't even have to look for it. It's right here.
Well, the other thing that comes to my mind as you said that is that part of being in a Pluto process is needing to grieve and feel the grief of what it is that's dying and then being transformed into something new. And so oftentimes we in our culture skip over that part. We forget that we need to be in that grieving, allow ourselves to feel what we feel, like something's dying, something's dead. And I just had somebody leave my community, and I've been feeling the grief of that. And also, I'm happy for her because, she's in a much better place now, I'm sure, but maybe a little jealous. But but definitely just feeling the grief and allowing ourselves to feel it, not just skip over it.
Yes, absolutely. That's so true, especially again for those of us in the US. And we started off, we were talking about 1772 and all of those things. And you see this figure has their hands crossed, and you even can see sort of This can be a card of contemplation as well, but also boredom and disconnect. And here is that gift, right? And it's the universe trying to present us with the gift, but we have to open our arms in order to receive it. So that is our collective message. And then I love this one because it has the masks. And so there's also a need to take the mask off. And perhaps that mask is, I don't want to see, I don't want to feel the grief. I don't want to feel the weight of everything. I just want to, turn on whatever and just zoom out, But the message here again is to open your arms and let things in. So that is where sort of collectively we are with that shadow message. I love that. What's waiting to bloom? Well, it's interesting because this flew out of the deck. And I told you, Caitlin, it flew out before. It flew out Thursday when I did the eclipse reading. So we have the Ace of Pentacles here. So
and I'm noticing on the side it has the Capricorn symbol,
uh-huh.
so that Ace of Pentacles, so that the Pluto going back into Capricorn in June, and that would be an exact square to the nodes. Wow, this is
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like right on, perfect.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so, so we have the Pentacles here, which represents Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. So we also have that Taurus node energy here as well. And it's take the blinders off, take the mask off so that you can see this pentacle, so that you can grasp this pentacle, so that you can take, I'm hearing, advantage of this pentacle. And so that's what's waiting to bloom. What's waiting to bloom is, it's here, prosperity, security, manifestation, all of the things that, and here we are also in Taurus season, right? And these are the things that Taurus, all earth signs really are concerned with, is that security, that home, that comfort. And so so in order to feel some sense of security and some sense of comfort, you have to open your arms and allow it. And so I wanted to pull an herb that could possibly help us with this. And I got the wholeness card. I got black mulberry, which interestingly enough is card number 33. So for our numerology folks, we also have master number 33 showing up, right? Higher octave of the number 6. So perhaps there is a need to bring a wholeness to a family situation. So perhaps part of the reason why we're a little closed off collectively also has to do with early childhood messages. And so around what we could be, do, or have. And so perhaps it's time to take that mask off, let that go, so that you can accept this new level of abundance. And so what I would say is to get some of that mulberry tea. So it's for protection, strength, vision, and just bringing mulberries into your life in any way that makes sense, whether it's tea or whatever makes sense. In this deck, these fruits and vegetables and all of these things, this is the Green Witch Oracle. This deck is also separated by seasons. And so the black mulberry actually resonates to the element of water.
Beautiful.
And so here we are, sipping our tea, opening our arms, taking off our mask, and allowing ourselves to feel a sense of wholeness. So that's what I have.
So perfect. It just completely describes the best way to really engage these energies. It's just so Pluto. So how are we going to move forward into what is truly ours to do, be, have, experience, express? And the thing to remember is that when we are willing to face our fears, transform our shadow, and shadow not being good or bad, is just so that we are integrated with that and we're not trying to dismiss it or pretend it's not there. the gifts that come. And I love the pentacles showing up. It's like the gifts that come is just, we can't even imagine. I mean, the caterpillar cannot imagine being a butterfly.
Right.
And the butterfly will, if a butterfly just came out of its cocoon, another butterfly might say, all that stuff you knew as a caterpillar doesn't apply.
Right.
It's a whole new world now. So we are that, I think we're in this cocoon space for these next few months, and we're going to be emerging into a whole new place. And I feel like exactly everything you said is going to help us get there.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
Oh, thank you
great.
so much.
Yeah, thank you. This is great.
Yeah, so we look forward to connecting with you again down the road, and we'll stay tuned in, and we're gonna probably revisit this, and maybe as we get to July when this is all gonna start being, we'll visit this topic again. So
Good.
thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.